I'm doing fair. Today's a Friday, and we expect to have lots of sporting events out there during the weekend. And we have had our national team prepare very well for the under-18 championships of the Sekafa, which are going to take place in Kenya. We shall all have that.
So you finally have their ages?
Not really. You cannot have their ages. I told you about that thing.
So did you bring the other 15 and even after the tournament?
I just brought you.
No, but the other time you told me after the tournament you will give me the under 15.
Yeah, problem is that some of the under 15s now have been transferred to the under 18. So they have joined, about 6 of them have joined the under 18, and they have been actually selected for the 23 last man.
Okay, let's begin.
Good morning, Uganda. This is the Blaze Sport update. As we speak, Chigezi Homeboys are very happy to receive back Rothomio Chemis, known as Omicho, from injury, and he is training very well. We are looking at their fixtures coming up during the weekend, that is in the big league. They are traveling to Jinja, Edgar. Chigezi Homeboys have had a series of poor results coming up, and actually traveling to Chabazinga Stadium in Jinja to take on a game that actually will help them. If they win, they will be up in the 6th and 5th position in the big league. But if they don't win, they will find themselves lagging behind anyway on the verge. It has some vibe, but these days they have had a series of poor results, only that they have won just 2 games at home, and we think they are going now to up their socks, and they're going to start winning ways. Away from that, the Lion Sports Academy also, it had issues with the Uganda Youth Football Federation Association for not having standards of the academy, but they have been approved, and they are now starting to conduct holiday training packages for the kids. The Lion Sports Academy in Ntungamo, Edgar, was on the verge of changing from Ntungamo to Kabwohe, simply because Nwasima Alonso Ronald, the CEO of FC Lions, has actually tried to take it back to the home base, but he has found some hiccups here and there, simply because in Ntungamo he has already built a fan base there, and he was planning to bring back this team to his home base in Kabwohe, which was not actually in line with the financial strength that he has in Kabwohe. So we expect Edgar, FC Lion Sports Academy, to transfer in the next season from Tungamo to Kabwohe, though the FC Lions is actually taking part in Chigezi sub-region when it comes to Ankole sub-region in the Western Regional League. Edgar, away from that, we had action in the basketball, the road to BAL. You can say the road to ball. The road to ball are the qualifiers that will help teams qualify for the Basketball Africa League, Edgar, in South Africa. It's actually going down in Pretoria. Uganda, represented by City Oilers, have actually won their 3rd game consecutively. City Oilers is now a hot topic.
Finally, the boys were ready. The men were ready.
They have actually won their 3rd, Edgar. When you look at their performance, they are winning in 80s. The points they are getting, they are above 80s. They mean
business.
Yeah, they started by beating COSPN 84-70, and they came on to win against JBC 87, and that person actually
putting on 23.
Ivan is actually a very, very great player. He has helped City Oilers to be crowned the champions of National Basketball League here in Uganda, and we expect them to be doing a lot more better than that, Edgar, when it comes to basketball. I think this time we are qualifying with no hesitation. I think this time we are one of the people who are going to pose a threat to those stronger teams. Like I told you, we expected some bit of challenge coming in there from South Africa and the likes of Namibia. Edgar, I think this time City Oilers should be taking part in the Basketball Africa League that are going to be held in Rwanda. That was the score. They now scored 100 against Ferranovaria, that team that comes in from Angola. Edgar, 100 points against those South African teams.
That's true.
Was a
very good thing.
Edgar, away from that, Mbara City is going to host SCVia tomorrow at Kachika Stadium. And before we talk about that, that game was postponed from Wednesday to tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah, they were supposed to play on Wednesday, by the way.
Yeah, they were supposed to play
this Wednesday. Yesterday, but one.
Yeah, that game was rescheduled simply because SCV had about 3 players who were called up on the national team, and they had traveled to Morocco, so they expect them to be fit again after they returned yesterday. And Edgar, some other thing, Mbarara City also had some sick players. They had the likes of Mutebi sick from malaria, and they had some other injuries. Wycliffe was injured. They also had some other defender injured. I think it was Karim Ramadan who could not train in the other days. So we expect them to have had changes. But majorly, the issue that made this game rescheduled was SCV having players on the national team and the FUFA drum tournament. Most of the players, especially on the side of Mbarara City, had traveled to play for their indigenous provinces. Like Lango, we saw Toro, Chitegenyi was away, and the likes, they were away playing for Toro and Teso, according to the reports that we have, and we confirmed Chitegenyi scored during that Toro game, even if they actually drew and lost.
That guy scores.
Henry Chitegenyi is good. So that game will be there in Kacheka Stadium tomorrow. In fact,
tomorrow we have a live match here.
A live match at Kacheka. We expect
all the best Mbarara City people.
We expect Edgar SCV to be playing a practice match today morning against Gist Band there at Riverside Stadium in Bishop Stewart University. We just don't know if
they are meant to play a friendly.
If a team from the first division is playing a team from 4th division, I just don't get that picture. I don't know who organized that friendly, but it's a good test for the Gist Band who are preparing to join the regional league, and as well as SCV who are preparing to play Mbarara City. Mbarara City beat Gist Band 7-0, and SCV is trying also to gauge themselves to see can they score more than 7-0. Mbarara City scored 7-0 past the Gist Band area. Away from that, we saw the Crested Cranes, the coach Sherry Bottes, that new lady from South Africa. Yeah, she started. She's a very serious woman. She took these players. She took these players into the conditioning part of it. As you can see, she started officially her trainings, but she challenged these girls. She took them to what we call conditioning mentally. She took them to class lessons. They even had to look for pens and papers to write down, which has not been the norm here in Uganda. It means she came up with a challenge. She came up with a challenge. She actually went tactical, and you could have seen. You could have seen the sheepy eyes of those girls as they were looking at the board. You could have seen Charles Ayeko, the assistant who led them against Cameroon. Also, you could have seen how he was looking at her, and he thought maybe these things were not easy. Anyway, Edgar, away from that, Sherry
that coach looks serious.
She's a very serious woman, Edgar.
And she
away
from that vast experience she has.
Away from that, she actually named her 23 girl squad. I mean, not say man squad, because they are ladies. She mentioned that squad. Edgar, she called upon Daisy Nakaziro from Kampala Queens, Hadija Nandago from UCU, and Gloria Namakula from Kampala Queens, Proscovia Adongo from She Maroons. She called upon Shadia Nancha from UCU Lady Cardinals. She called Desire Natoro Asuboga for ladies. She also called upon somebody from Kampala Queens, Samarina Kachwa and Asia Nachivuka, Kampala Queens both. And you could also see in the defenders, she called upon Lilian Mutuzo, Kampala Queens. She called Elizabeth Nachigozi, Kampala Queens. You see how many. And she also called Fazila Ikwaput as a striker from Kampala Queens. She called again Zaina Nandede, Kampala Queens. And she also called Kamiat Naigaga coming in there from Asubo Gafford ladies as a striker. You see? What they ate. Edgar, that's Kampala Queens for you. That's Kampala Queens for you, producing quality players and national team material. We also saw the KCC FC mention or unveil. They mentioned a name and unveiled him later. They mentioned that name on Wednesday, and they said they were bringing a funds coordinator simply because they are trying to keep up with the regulations that were released by the federation, especially about the code of conduct in funds section. You know,
so
Edgar,
teams are meant to have funds coordinators.
Yes, they are meant to control their funds against hooliganism, against misbehavior, especially during football events. Now, KCCA has actually welcomed a new KCCA fans coordinator. We expect this man who has experience in fans coordination, the man called Tom Matov has been there. He has been in football for the last 7 years, and that's actually one of the qualifications. You must have spent 5 years in fans coordination, especially in the big league and the FUFA Super League. Now, Matov comes to KCC as his boyhood fans club. He actually thinks he's going to do better than we have seen some other fans coordinators at URA and other fans coordinators at St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende. Edgar, away from that, we saw also news coming in there from Nambole. You know, Nambole was renovated and it is under restructuring. Yeah, it was restructured.
I need to know how it even
simply because we played a number of games away from home, just because Nambole could not meet the CAF standards that would help us.
That's the stadium that was renovated. Couldn't meet the CAF standards.
No. Before it was renovated, CAF disqualified it, actually grading it to C and D amongst the levels of stadium grading. Nambole was equal to Kachika by the time CAF inspected Edgar. But now, after renovation, it was actually the renovation process was taken over by the UPDF Engineering Brigade. Now you can see. Now you can see.
If you hear the UPDF Engineering Brigade,
yes, Edgar. Now Nambole has shaped up. The 45,000-seater stadium has been renovated, and the turf was removed, now also reframed. As you can see, the green is coming up and the seats have been fixed. Edgar, Nambole was constructed in 1989 but commissioned in 2000. That tells you it took 10 years to construct that stadium. But this time we can confirm that the seats have been fixed, 45,000 of them, as we have so far received 30,000, and the 10,000 are up for importation, Edgar. There's no company that manufactures those seats here in Uganda, so we had to import. Edgar, Nambole now is 85% done, and we expect it to be actually completed by 23rd of December. Remember, we have had a series of games played away from home, yet those games were supposed to be held here at home, Edgar. We actually played South Sudan at St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, and that game cost us the AFCON qualifier result, Edgar. We also played in Nyayo in Kenya, and we also lost 1-0 to South Sudan. You remember that? Yeah, just because we could not play from home. But now I can confirm that Nambole has been renovated, and you can see the green is coming up as per standard of CAF, Edgar. Away from that, the national under-18 team has also been named the 23-man squad that traveled yesterday to Kenya, actually in the city of Kakamega. The under-18, Edgar, are going to be held in 3 cities, that is Nakuru, Kakamega and Nairobi, Edgar. We expect the under-18 to be in good shape, especially the 23-man squad that has actually been released by the coach Mole. Edgar, Mole Biekwaso has decided to actually pick the boys he expects to perform better. Man squad is supposed to help us win the under 18, Edgar. What's your take about that?
Under 15, but I wish them.
Okay, Kaya Ronald coming
I have
in
a
from
feeling
Nick,
that selection was fine anyway.
because Mole is
Mole is good.
Mole
He
is
has
a
that
good
experience.
scout, yeah.
And I think in scouting, like you said, in scouting,
Yeah, he's a very good
perfect.
scout.
So,
Kaya Ronald coming in from NEC, and Wandera Hakim from Prosper also. You saw Anguti Amagu Lewis coming in from Rugazi, Mokisa Simon from SCVR, and Namaisi Stevie of Kataka was also selected. selected in the national juniors under 23 team. In fact, he was the youngest in that one. That one I can confirm he's 17. We can also see the midfielders: Katongole Frank from Vipers, Chisolo John Innocent from St. Henry's College Chitovu. St. Henry's also bringing somebody there. Butiwe Charles Okero from SCVia, Kalunji Abu Said from Gaddafi, Mutiawa Travis from Dynamo TBC in Georgia, Mutebi Hakim from SCVia, Mpasa Swabil from Bull, and Sekajugo Elvis coming in from Royal Giant High School. You can see most of the schools there that performed better in the post-primaries. Forwards, he has actually called upon Cheyune Abbas from SCVia, Okelo Richard from Bull, and Yiga Alex from KCCA, Mayanja Abubakar from KCCA, and Christo Dennis from URA. URA, Edgar, for your information, URA has just provided us with just one player. That was the under-18 national squad that was selected to travel. In fact, they already traveled. They reached Kakamega yesterday evening, and we had some action in the Uganda Premier League. We saw Vipers at Centenary Stadium, which tended under floodlights. They actually humiliated somebody. Vipers came up to humiliate David Obua. David Obua had promised from his first game after winning, but this time his results. That's football. URA lost 2-0 at St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende, but you could have seen how Abdul Lumala was a spark of. He was actually electric. Abdul Lumala also had 6 shots on target, having 3 also saved by the he decided to come back home. He decided to settle from here, having tried the abroad football and could not.
But he's good.
Abdu is good. And Vipers actually has favored his style of play and he's doing better. I saw Vipers winning this game without Bright Anokani, without Kalisa. We saw Vipers becoming different. Should we say those stars are the ones who have been actually letting down Vipers? No, we cannot tell. So Vipers won 2-0 against URA. There were a number of efforts given in there by URA, but they could not penetrate that defense. We saw Abakalowal helping his teammates to score, but Abakalowal, when you look at him, he's kind of disabled. He has that weak leg. You might think he's a disabled person, but the way he plays football, my friend. Anyway, we had those highlights and we had those pictures. My producer will play them later. Away from that, we go to cricket cranes who are in Namibia. Remember, they are doing the qualifiers of the T20 World Cup here in Africa, and they are in Windhoek. They actually did something like charity visit. They went to a certain neighboring school that is actually around that cricket oval. They helped them, gave them some breakfast, played with them some games, helped them. You can look at them.
Breakfast.
That's Uganda cricket cranes for you. They helped those kids and they actually gave them some tips. But they never had a lot of money, but the little they had, they had.
So basically, those are the
some of the pictures when they were in Namibia, giving some tips to those kids after serving them some lunch. Really, those people have some money on them. Some others
they gave them breakfast.
They gave them some breakfast, and those were the pictures after breakfast. They were doing some hops and jumps there. Edgar, away from that, we have Thanksgiving coming in there from the NFL League. You know, we are remembering Kirk Tritis, this man who was a coach at Cavaliers, the Cavaliers team that actually won the NFL in 2015 and 2016. Now we have the charity game for them, and the fixtures are up in the NFL. NFL has actually decided to have some games to do the Thanksgiving for him, so that we can remember his legacy. Packers will be up against Lions. That will be 123 prime meridian time, and we also have a game between Commanders and Cowboys at 4:30 p.m. ET, and we shall also have 49ers taking on Seahawks at 820 p.m. ET. Anyway, Edgar, away from that, we come back to Africa, where Mamelodi Sundowns, Sharpeville, that is the ladies branch, have actually done better to qualify for the knockout stages in the CAF Women Champions League. Yeah, Mamelodi is bad news when it comes to football. Those guys, they have a football stadium that actually you can contact Onyango. Is one of the last time I saw him giving out 2 jerseys to some of the Daily Monitor panelists, that is Bosa and Chigozi. He gave out those jerseys. And now, away from that, that is the She Mark team that actually drew with Lady Doves 1-1 at home in Makerere, Edgar. We can confirm that in the Women's Super League, She-Mark has not actually had numerous wins. They have only had 2 in 5, and getting draws against Lady Doves and Asubo Gafford Ladies. That is the She-Mark team, as you can see over there. Away from that, Cristiano Ronaldo has been nominated in 3 different awards. Edgar, Globe Awards are going on worldwide. Globe Awards are held in Dubai annually, and Cristiano Ronaldo has been nominated. And rumors say, according to reports, he is still leading those nominations, especially in the Asia. Yeah, in the Asia Best Player of the Year, he is there, and in the Globe Awards Best Annual Player of the Year, he actually is leading.
But that guy can jump, eh?
Edgar,
that sprint power that Ronaldo
at
has.
certain 9, that picture was gotten yesterday from the training. Look at how these other guys were looking at him and that distance he's jumping. By the way, he still holds the record of jumping high when he scored a goal against Sassuolo, when he jumped up from 5.23 meters high to score that goal against Sassuolo in the Italian Serie A. Edgar, that's Cristiano for you. Remember, a few days ago, he was emulated, given a Cristiano Museum in Riyadh, one of the best football museum in the world that we have seen so far, and it is up to standard. That is Cristiano for you. Away from that, we saw Alan Okello yesterday getting his debut at Vipers, when he actually had fans raise placards and raise banners calling out the young boy. Alan Okello had made a record from Ugandan football when he went to AS Palado in Algeria on a whooping 200,000 US dollars. Edgar, that transfer was a record holder here in Uganda, but he was loaned back at KCC, and then when the loan spell got done or expired, he decided to settle at Vipers Football Club. That's Alan Okello for you, coming there for Vipers. Edgar, that's all I had for you in today's Blaze.
Thank you very much, my brother Jusper. He will be coming back at exactly 3 p.m. today to give you the latest sports news in detail. As far as I'm concerned, we're continuing with the morning Blaze. Let's take a breather when we return. But of course, doing the second last segment, which happens to be the current affairs. I'm Edgar. This has been Jusper. We're doing the Blaze Sports. Good morning.